This is the Original Firefighter Podcast, where we talk about anything you would talk about at the firehouse kitchen table. And sometimes we even talk about fighting fires. Make sure to subscribe and hit that bell. Let's get into the show. And welcome to a special edition of the Original Firefighter Podcast. And with us today is Biby, a co-owner of Original Firefighter. We don't often see him, but he is always behind the scenes. We're going to be doing a little bit of Q&A for most of the episode here. We have a special edition. It's going to be 100 Days in Montana. We're going to be comparing the working style, the fire service of the Midwest compared to what is out in this area of the country, and also going down some other paths that I think that everyone's going to be very interested. So stay with us for the entire episode. It's going to be fun. And before we get into this episode, we just want to make mention that this month is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Original Firefighter, we do support research and searching for a cure for breast cancer. And so if you go to our website, originalfirefighter.com, buy the beanie hat that has the little pink eagle on it. It's our logo in pink. It's embroidered on our beanies. Buy that beanie. And what we do is we send $10 for every sale. We send it to 4-3 Sisters. That's 4-3 Sisters for a research and looking for a cure for breast cancer. So we are going to get into it here. Aaron, nice to see you.
Hey.
Glad to have you,
back.
man. Yeah, we are back.
I mean,
right?
I'm always
like
here.
this.
I've never gone.
You are
It's
always
just,
here.
I get to be on camera a little bit today, so that's good.
Yeah.
Good for
It's
all the
always
people.
fun. What's that?
Good for all the people, right?
Good for all the people, right?
Yeah.
Right.
I guarantee you I am not AI.
He's not AI, and Phil is
I
on
feel like I have to
special
say that
assignment.
these days.
Right?
I'm actually editing these things. It's not AI.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We do it real here at Original Firefighter. We do it original.
Ooh, that's right. Real, original.
Yeah, so going down that road already, are we? Yeah, so hey, man, it's great to always be talking to you and seeing you. But things have been a little different since I have relocated. It was interesting. We were talking about how Original Firefighter was going to continue, and I think we have found our way. So and we really do want to say thank you to all of our supporters, our followers, subscribers. Thank you very much. The numbers are going up, and we were hoping to see more engagement, and we're getting that. So we really appreciate everyone following us.
Yeah, we're seeing some milestones on social media, on YouTube. Not to mention, we just hit a big milestone, 1 year as a podcast.
That's right.
So we, I know you just sent out a text to everybody. I think it was yesterday. We hit 365 days from our first episode drop, and it's been awesome to see the community grow around the content. When we first started this, we weren't sure, how the podcast thing was going to go. It was kind of going to be maybe a marketing play for some of the other things we were doing, but quickly realized, no, this is the thing. We really like talking about the fire service, having conversations about current events, just getting to know people out there that are either in or surrounding the fire service in America. So, this has been great. And I can't believe we're already 1 year into this.
Yeah,
but
that is. Go ahead. Yeah.
1 year of podcast, but 100 days of Montana for you, Will.
Yeah, it does kind of, man, it underscores the phrase "time flies."
Right.
That is so true. Time flies, and to think that I'm sitting here 100 days plus here in Montana, and if you had asked me, a year ago where I was going to be, there's Montana wasn't even on my radar. It wasn't even on my radar. There's
probably two or three other states that you had listed at one point.
If there was even going to be a move at all. I wasn't, I hadn't set out after retiring from the Rockford Fire Department. I hadn't set out with any major decision that I was moving to anywhere in particular or anytime soon. And obviously, we've been building this company, Original Firefighter, and we started all that there in Rockford, Illinois. We did that between myself, you, Rob, and then expanding out to Phil now with us, and seeing him on our podcast and doing the wonderful things that he's doing. And now we've grown from 3 owners to 5 partners. and we're making some things happen, and there are more things to come. I mean, that's
Yeah,
the thing, is
exciting
that there are
things, yeah.
more things to come. Stay tuned. Just when you think that we're at some sort of pinnacle peak moment, we're gonna turn gears again and make some changes. And those are things that are coming. So a little bit of teaser there. But yeah, 100 days in Montana, 365 days with this company, podcasts going, and we're just going to keep pushing content and getting better and better. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's talk about 100 days in Montana.
So we've been, shifting gears as a company, but you've been shifting gears just personally in your move from Rockford out to Whitefish, Montana. So I'm curious, after 3 decades, fighting fires and being a part of the fire department here in Rockford, which is, those of you that don't know, Rockford's a very urban environment. It's kind of like size-wise, population-wise, it's maybe a tier 2 city in Illinois. So lots of structure fires and other things. And moving out to a place like Whitefish, Montana, where it's, it's a resort community. It's kind of like, the way God intended Earth to look. Like it's a beautiful place. You're dealing with wildland stuff. You're dealing with national parks and all kinds of new things. I'm kind of curious to hear from you just some initial thoughts on the difference between the two environments.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's no doubt that there was a huge difference, and just just a point of reference where, when I did retire, I honestly, I know I told lots of people, I told myself that I was truly done. I was going to be like, okay, I've given a good long number of years to the fire service, and I was just going to pivot along with this company and sort of just refocus efforts and just sort of drive home more of a message about the fire service in today's world, and do a little bit of comparison. I mean, it's always kind of fun to make comparisons to the good old days that as we reference it, to versus the dawn of the new era of the fire service today. And then all of a sudden, a year, just about almost to the day, a year goes by, and I have this sort of break, if you will, from work, and then I stepped right back into the fire service.
Yeah, but if I recall, it wasn't even a year.
It wasn't. It was just shy of a year, right?
You almost made it.
Yeah, so they call that shitting backwards, and so
they keep pulling me back in.
They pulled me back in. Yeah, so there is a huge, drastic difference. From going from Midwest firefighting to sort of this Pacific Northwest coast area. Certainly, we're not on the far west coast here, but we are in the Rockies, and we're very north. I mean, I'm reminded all the time that you get in your truck, or if I got in my truck, I could be at the Canadian border within an hour, and that I forget that. I mean, it blows my mind to think that, actually. But yeah, the fire service back if I back home, we'll say Rockford, being home, quotes, air quotes, home, very urban, very industrial, just the very typical Rust Belt city that's trying to make a comeback. And I will acknowledge that I think that in the 29 years that I lived in Rockford, I remember what it looked like in 1996 when I moved there, and it's not totally different, but there's definitely areas that have improved. They, looks better. The city's done a pretty decent job of cleaning it up, and I think it's on the rise. I do. I think it's getting its own renaissance, if you will. The fire department is gangbusters there. They are, constantly fighting fires. They are going on so many medical calls. They deserve at least one extra new firehouse, not just to replace one.
Right.
They need more expansion. They need to grow, and hopefully they're going to get that. And so they have a lot of resources, though. That's what they have is back there. There's a lot of resources. When there's fire incidents, they can upgrade to extra alarms and get the resources there, get the fire manpower there, and so the expectation of what you wait for in terms of resources, they can get those things on scene pretty quickly. That is not the case here. It just isn't. In this particular town, and then also in the Flathead Valley, Um, your largest community, if you will, is Kalispell. It is the county seat. And actually, Kalispell Fire Department was the first union fire department in the state of Montana. And then Whitefish is just, I don't know, about a 10-minute drive to the north of Kalispell. We, when we're getting a toned out for a structure fire here, we're sending our first resources out of Whitefish, and then we're relying on the rest of the county to start filling in those resources, and vice versa. So
is that due to like
that's the difference?
Is that population? Is that just the like the types of structures that you have in your community? Is that like what's the reason that you're having to
it's
push
staffing.
off to other? It's
staffing. It's just staffing. Yeah, I mean, everyone is. I'll just say shorthanded.
Okay.
And I've already there's one of our captains. He used a phrase on me that I thought was pretty cool. He had said, "Yeah, if you get outside of Whitefish, maybe if you go in any direction 10 mile or about 10 miles, he goes, it's cowboy time."
Yeah.
He's just like, we're just going to figure it out. Like, we're just going to, we've got standard, there's policies and procedures, there's ways of operating and things like that. But he's like, there's a lot of times we're just like, we're just going to figure it out. We're going to, it's cowboy time, he says.
That's
and
good.
so I'm getting used to that is just, when I'm thinking that I'm going to do something here, whether it take command or run an incident, it's just, you kind of take it for granted what you had before, where you could have resources on scene within, minutes. Here, it's like, it could be quite a long time.
Operationally, then how is that changing your mindset out there as you're approaching different incidents?
Yeah, I think you have to take a minute, probably slow roll a little bit more. Kind of don't get overcommitted to something until you understand it. Like and there, I'll go into some other details about understanding what's going on in certain incidents types. But we'll just take a straightforward structure fire. If you only have 4, 5, 6 firefighters arriving on scene, and it's going to take quite a long time for backup to show up, you're not going to overcommit those firefighters. You're not going to overcommit those resources until you have proper backup. And so what you're trading off is you're most likely trading off property, that's going to get lost more rapidly. We can do our best, hit it from the outside. They call it hit it hard from the yard.
Yeah.
In the fire service, we like things that rhyme.
Yeah.
Or
makes it easy to remember.
Yeah. Or anything that we can break down into acronyms, we really like that. But if we don't have the backup, if we don't have the resources, we're just not overcommitted. We're just not going to risk the lives of firefighters for what's going to end up being the loss of property in most cases. If there's
now, you're also doing a lot of wildland stuff too, though. So how does that shift when you're moving, out of kind of that structure fire environment out into wildland?
Yeah. Okay. So now that's the biggest, juggernaut to tackle here is, coming in with plenty of experience in structural firefighting and urban, department, crisis management, if you will. Mm-hmm. And here, crisis management is that, but then it's this other component. And then the other component is the wilderness. And, and there's a huge want in this area, especially, where, as you called it a few minutes ago, you talked, referred to Whitefish as a resort town, and that's what it is. Mm-hmm. It's got a ski mountain. People are here 365 days a year, and they're recreating. They're doing something outside, which is very interesting also, because you have so many people that are moving in every direction here, and they're doing all kinds of things. They're doing hiking, fishing, boating. They are hunting. They are trying to get out into the wilderness and push far into the wilderness. And then you have residents here that they also live here, whether it's year round or they're living here for part of the seasons. But they also want to live in the woods. They want to push in deep into the woods and have that
Right.
nature surrounding them. But the trigger word out here is, or the trigger phrase is wildland fire. And it's top of mind. It comes probably, first in most people's minds about what the biggest danger is out here. It is wildfire. So not having a ton of that experience is a challenge for myself, and really relying on the expertise of the local firefighters who most of them have lived here all their lives, and they understand the terrain and the wilderness very well, much better than I do. And so I just listen to them, and I lean, towards them to kind of help, guide me, if you will. And I really appreciate that. And I'm good for that. I'm good with that.
Like, that's just good leadership fuel, right? To encourage people to listen. Like, you have to lead, but you also have to admit when you're new to a situation or an environment, right? And if you've got a crew like that to lean on, then you want to lean on them.
Yeah,
Has there been a specific moment where you kind of rolled up and were like, I mean, just full transparency, you're like, oh, I don't know what the hell's going on here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, there is, there's some video and photos that we'll look at here. And, but, and if you're listening to this, this one would be a good one where you jump over to YouTube and watch the show, because there's some very good visual in this episode. But one of them, being a wildland incident, which was not very, very big at all. But it was a great learning opportunity. We did go, pretty far outside of the city, and then got into some of the backwoods, and we, were driving down these, long ass logging roads that like the road just kept getting narrower and narrower and narrower, and I'm trying to avoid, taking out small trees and stuff like that with my buggy, and, and just following, like they refer the Department of Natural Resources and Conservation, the DNRC, following their lead, and then getting kind of tied into an actual wildland, firefighting group that is calling in air assets, and helicopters are flying over, and you're just kind of like down on the ground looking up in the sky going, wow, this is incredible. It's just a very neat experience. And
it's got to be surreal.
Yeah, it's
I know you dipped your toe in it just a little bit at the beginning of your career, right? Just for some initial training.
Yeah. Back in Wisconsin, very
to be
early.
Fully immersed in that environment with water drops coming in and being out in the middle of nowhere, backcountry,
right? Compared
to an engine and a couple trucks on scene at a church fire or a warehouse fire. It's just got to be a completely different feeling.
Yeah, I definitely gained a new respect for the wildland firefighters. I think that those, whether they do it, there's individuals out here that do it as their 100% of their career. They're attached to wildland firefighting groups, or the Department of Forestry, or the Department of Natural Resources and Conservation. Like, that there are wildland firefighters that's all they do. Whitefish firefighters do both. They do structural fire protection, and they do wildland fire suppression. And so,
and you have a season for that there, right? Like, there's an off season where you're not necessarily worrying quite as much about wildland fire.
Yeah. So as I understand it, like this particular, since we're talking about the 100 days in Montana here, apparently this has been quite a wet season. So the risk has been lower, I guess. Although I have this app on my phone, and it shows you where all the wildland fires are occurring, or where they're at in real time, and it's constantly being updated. And it's funny because like I'll do the pinch out and zoom out from my location, and I'm like, okay, there's still a lot of fires that are burning out here.
Fire.
Like they say, it's a less wildland fire season this year, but there's still a lot of wildfires. And most of the days that I've been here, there has at least been some smoke in the in the air. And some days it's really bad. I mean, you can't, I'm very close to the west entrance of Glacier National Park, and you're usually able to look through a kind of a saddle of the mountains and see into Glacier. But any day that the smoke is socked in there, then you can't even look in, past those first initial foothills or the mountains that are leading you towards the Glacier entrance. But yeah, it's a whole nother animal. Is the wildland component is a whole nother animal. So I don't know. I just
specifically of a time where maybe you had to question an approach or a tactic that you had taken, as kind of Bible for the last 30 years of how you handle something and realize this isn't going to work here.
Yeah, no, I don't think I've had that quite yet. I think what some of the things that I recognize is, so there's a long travel distance to a lot of things out here.
Okay.
So that's probably the thing that I recognize the most, is that if I were to be back in Rockford and there was, say I'm in downtown Rockford and there's a fire or a auto accident, any type of incident that's maybe on the far east side of Rockford, yeah, it's going to take me time to get there, but it's going to take, basically it's a grid. You're driving straight east. You're going to get to your location without any complication except for the traffic and the stoplights and things like that. Out here, like, it takes you a long time to get to arrive on scene. And especially if you're leaving, I mean, even in the response area of Whitefish, it's over 100 square miles. And the cell service drops like the minute that you are outside of the city limits, like, it just starts to drop. So if you don't know where you're going, which pick me, right. I don't know where I'm going most of the time. Man. So like, I am like dialed in to try to be sure that I know the best to my ability how to get to a certain place. And there's no grid system. It's all, there's main streets that are running through Whitefish and through the downtown area of Kalispell and, that kind of thing. But like I say, I mean, you could be through Whitefish in 10 minutes and all of a sudden you're in the middle of nowhere and you're just on these, roads that are taking you up into the mountains.
I'm gonna get a map.
Yeah. That's it.
Like a GPS or like a one of those old Stacy Press maps, that you can flip through.
Yeah,
one of those.
A big thing. So I really am going to look into this the Starlink, and I think that's a good way to go. I think, but it's just a whole nother. It's just a whole nother world. Is really what it comes down to for me. It's a whole nother world, and it's very interesting, very cool.
Yeah, I mean, you've a couple of times you've compared it to like being on a different planet, or it's like a moonscape or something. It's like where am I right now? I mean, just being you did the drive, but if you were picked up and plucked out of Rockford and dropped in Whitefish, you would feel like you're on a different planet.
Right, and essentially that's kind of my account is. I really only had taken one small, quick weekend trip out here just to be able to say that I touched Whitefish before I had accepted the position, and really in that initial trip out here, I only saw like the main drag of downtown Whitefish, which is Whitefish. I'm sorry, which is really cool, in and of itself. But once you get out and you start really looking at the wild wilderness for what it is, it's incredible. I mean, you just can't say enough about when you're driving down a road, and if you just take a right or a left, all of a sudden it opens up into something else, and it's just
it's jaw dropping. Man. That's the best.
Very beautiful,
and that fresh air. We could use some more. I mean, Rockford is called Forest City, but we could use some more fresh air out here.
Yeah.
More trees.
More trees. This episode of the Original Firefighter podcast is sponsored by Castle Contracting. Castle Contracting offers commercial and residential restoration, leading the industry in roofing, residential siding, gutters and downspouts, egress window installation, storm damage assessment and repair, and solar energy, saving you money and time. If you want to be treated like royalty, contact Castle Contracting to schedule a free inspection. Call them at 877-512-4207 or go online and visit castleexteriors.net. That's 877-512-4207 or go online and visit castleexteriors.net. Serving Illinois, Wisconsin, and Kentucky, Castle Contracting has you covered. Your home is your castle. Call Castle Contracting today.
So how about opportunities for like cross-pollination of lessons, things that whitefish can maybe learn from your experience here in Rockford, things maybe that you could bring to whitefish, you know, your personal leadership style, lessons and tactics you've brought from Rockford with you, anything that you feel like you're bringing that way that is maybe a change in the way that they have handled things so far?
Yeah, I think that the biggest thing or challenges that are facing us right now is that this area is growing like gangbusters. City of Whitefish itself, Kalispell, is just, there's constant construction going on, and you know, they call it the last best place on earth. You know, it's literally
like
that's
that.
how they refer to it, the last best place, and I can see it. I can understand why they claim that phrase. At the same time, people are getting wise to it, and they're moving here, and you know. I'm learning very quickly that there's some locals that definitely don't like that change, and I don't
Locals
blame
only.
them. Yeah, locals only, right? And I don't blame them for that, because you don't want to see things, you know, turning, you know, from being the beautiful wilderness that it is, and then all of a sudden it becomes a Six Flags.
Right. Yes.
You know, and that will be very unfortunate. But it's growing so quickly that the days, you know, I think we've said this before too on Original Firefighters, that the day of the volunteer is coming to an end. I very much appreciate volunteers. And I say that very clearly because I started out as a volunteer. Most firefighters, career firefighters, if you will, started out as a volunteer. So, you know, I don't ever look at any kind of volunteer fire department and think that they're not capable. It's just that the fire service has changed so dramatically, the standards of what you have to meet in order to be able to be on that fire truck or be on the ambulance or be on a squad rescue company. The standards are just so great. And the risk, the exposure, and the risk for fatality, for injury, things of that nature it's constant. It's all around us. And especially out here, I mean, Rockford has got people, firefighters, that are constantly injured because there's so much exposure to fire and doing the job and things of that nature. Out here, there's not as much fire exposure, like structural fire exposure, because there's just not as many structure fires, if you will. But there is everything else going on. There's rollovers and, you know, logging going on out here. There's adventure seekers that are you know, falling and getting swept into rivers.
Yeah.
And so these firefighters and rescuers are exposed to all of these things. They all require discipline and standards to meet before you can go and do certain things, before you can put yourself in that environment as a rescuer. And the volunteer is just, there's no time for it. There's, you know, they have to work and make a living, and they've probably already had some kind of a career path before. And so
you don't think that there's, like, in smaller community, I'm thinking, like,
yeah,
obviously in a whitefish it's not going to work because of the level of specialty that you have to handle a rescue.
If you're not growing, if you're not growing, if your town or village is not really growing much, you can probably stick with the model that has worked for you.
There's still tons of little farming towns,
absolutely,
and, you know, townships and
right,
little established areas that are kind of informally established, and maybe it's a dozen farming plots, you know, that are like, we're just going to look out for each other. Feel like there's probably still a need for it, but I hear what you're saying. Like, liability is a huge thing.
Huge.
And so you've got to have the certifications and the training to put yourself in a place where you'd be liable. Fewer and fewer people are probably going to be willing to do it as a volunteer because, like, why would you volunteer to put yourself in that position?
What I really mean to say is that what I want to be clear about is that there's so much is that where do you find the time to be able to do all that, plus work another type of job and have your regular home life,
right? Yes.
Whereas a career firefighter that's what they do. That's what they're doing all day long, right. 24, 48 hours at a time. And so they're the time, the commitment to getting all those disciplines and all those subject matters, becoming an expert in all the fields of the fire service these days, that takes now more career firefighters to be able to do that. And so that's going to be the growing pains that I see out here is you'll need to add staffing. You'll have to have the firefighters in the firehouses being able to take on all of these responsibilities to protect your citizens and protect your visitors too, especially the visitors. Or I shouldn't say especially, in equally the visitors, the citizens that live in this area, plus the visitors. You need them both, and both of them are giving a certain level of livelihood to the communities, especially Whitefish. And so, I see that. I see this need to recognize that we're going to have to get ahead of the curve at some point, and
it sounds like you're
grow.
Making formal plans to do that, right?
Sure, absolutely, yeah. So, and it's a necessity. And
like
the other part of it too is that it's been in the news quite a bit, is that with these wildland fires, insurance companies are dropping people that are living in these areas. They're just flat out not willing to take the risks. We know what happened in California. We know State Farm pretty much pulled out and left everybody hanging without insurance. I don't understand how a company can do that, but they have, and so have others. And so now lots of individuals that once had home insurance protection, they either don't, or they're getting dropped, or their premiums are doubling and tripling, and it's all based on adequate fire protection. And there again, these insurance companies are saying it's not good enough to have just a fire hall with a fire truck sitting in it with no firefighters in it.
Right. It's not the apparatus, it's the personnel, right? That's going to respond. So
it's the personnel. Yeah. And so I'm here for it. I make no bones about that. I am 100,000% about the supporting of the growing of the staff, and making sure that the firefighters are getting adequate protection themselves and have adequate backup, because it's needed. They have to have it.
Yeah. Now we got refineries going up in LA, so that's not going to help their cause. I don't know if you saw that.
I have seen that. Hey, you know what? If it's not one thing, it's another.
I know. Hang in there, LA.
Yeah. Ugh.
Do your best.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Well, let's talk. I mean, that's a lot on the job, but how about just your personal life and like the difference in life in Montana versus life in the Midwest, which, not just Rockford, you've been all over the Midwest, all the flat parts of our country.
Yeah.
Now you're out in the middle of a very topographically diverse area.
Yeah.
So what was your first impression waking up there, looking out the window of your place and seeing mountains and basically a national park, right?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'll tell you, if you ask certain friends and loved ones of mine, they heard me say after I retired the first time that when I moved, to be clear, when I moved, for me, 29 years in Illinois was enough. I have some very strong opinions about that state, the politics of it. I'm not going to make that about this show, this episode. What I am going to be clear about, though, is that I had told people and told myself that when I was done there in Illinois, I was going to move, and I didn't know exactly where, but I knew for a fact that there was going to be one of two things. I was going to move, and that I was either going to be looking at the ocean or I was going to be looking at mountains.
Mm-hmm.
And so mountains won.
Yeah, check that box.
So far, mountains have won, and so far it's been a great choice. I'm huge into hiking. I love it. I can't say enough about getting out and hiking. I don't know really where that kind of came from, because it's not like in Illinois and, you're there, that it's pretty limited in hiking terms. Sorry,
for sure.
Rock Cut and, Starved Rock, but it's not going to cut the mustard if you compare it to some of the other places that I'm looking at. So being out here and having that kind of access and having that immediate access to that, I mean, I can get in my truck and just be anywhere that's interesting to hike and be out for the rest of the day or go for days, and that sort of thing. It's incredible. I've already had some wonderful hikes in Glacier National, and I do have to make a mention that some of this has only happened because some of these whitefish firefighters and particular individuals that have really gone out of their way to show me or tell me about places to go and what to do, where to access certain things. And so that has just helped me tremendously to get out of my comfort zone. But it doesn't take long. I mean, you can go in any direction here and find something really fantastic to be a part of.
This episode is brought to you by Strike the Box Cigars, Pipes, and Tobacco. Whether you're a seasoned aficionado or just starting your journey into the world of fine tobacco, Strike the Box has what you need. From the finest cigars to premium loose leaf tobacco, Strike the Box delivers on quality in a welcoming space where you can enjoy a smoke and good company. Additionally, Strike the Box specializes in vintage pipe restoration. We're talking estate pipes brought back to life with craftsmanship that borders on art. Got Grandpa's old briar gathering dust? Let the crew at Strike the Box make it smoke like new. Check out their full list of vintage pipes for sale at striketheboxpipeandcigar.com or swing by the shop located at 6935 11th Street, New Milford, Illinois. Soak in the aroma and talk shop with real tobacco lovers from the American Fire Service. Strike the Box, where fire, flavor, and tradition meet. Again, that's striketheboxpipeandcigar.com or swing by the shop located at 6935 11th Street, New Milford, Illinois.
The Flathead Lake itself, it's the largest body of fresh water that's this side of the Mississippi. I didn't know that before coming here. So obviously, we're all exposed to the Great Lakes, around, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Michigan, that sort of thing. But then to have, this fresh body of water that's just 20 minutes from where I live, and it's just absolutely drop dead gorgeous. So, I've taken several trips down there and just hung out on Flathead Lake, getting into Glacier and hiking. The one of the best hikes we've had, this right here. This is Sai. And so, this is the Sai Trail, and there's really not a trail. That's the part that's kind of interesting.
That's crazy, man.
That I'm finding is that there's
You're
trails
like walking
in
on the
Glacier.
spine of a mountain right there.
Yes, exactly.
That's awesome.
And this is really typical, I guess,
Dang.
is that you have trails, but then if you want to go and summit places, you
Right.
kind of have to get off the trail.
Get off. Yep.
And go up these scree hills, I guess is what I hope I'm saying that right. And then on one side, there'll be sort of this slope you're still pretty exposed. And then on the other side, it's just a sheer drop off. And so here we are just kind of looking over,
look at
and
that.
this is my foot right there, because I like to push it to the right to the edge.
If you're listening to this and you're not on YouTube, now's a good time to jump over.
Yeah.
Check out the video on YouTube. This is pretty incredible.
Yeah. So, and these are, friends of mine from Rockford. And they, as they say, hey, if you want people to come visit you, you better be moving to something that's interesting.
Yeah,
And,
something worth visiting. You definitely did that.
Yeah, I've checked that box for sure. So, we're doing this hike, and it was a grind. I mean, I've had some wonderful hikes in my lifetime. I've done some stuff in Yosemite and Colorado, getting up to the top of Mount Elbert in Colorado. But Glacier is special. Glacier is interesting. It's very loose rock. You kind of don't have good footing in a lot of places, and so it can really feel kind of like you're extra exposed, like you're just going to kind of start sliding and moving a little too quickly.
And then we've got some other video here that you sent over to me.
Mm-hmm.
We've got This is Wild.
Yeah. So this is getting up to the top of Mount Aeneas, and this is just some mountain goats that hang out up here towards the top. This one's walking, right at me, right towards me. He knows I'm there. He doesn't really care. Gets a little skittish as he gets right up next to me. But the wildlife here is a part of you're a part of their environment.
Yeah, you're
That's
in their
the way.
turf.
You're in their backyard.
Yeah.
And the other part of it too, and I have not yet seen one, even though obviously on my screen here you can see that I've got my orange bear here, which is I love it. It's a great painting of. I just love a bear, the species of bear. I think it's my spirit animal, and I really do.
I can see that.
I just love it. Bears are cool. Bears are awesome. And so I haven't seen one yet, but I don't go anywhere without bear spray. Nobody out here does.
Really?
It's a real. Oh yeah, it's grizzly country for sure. It is definitely.
I've been in plenty of places where I probably should have been carrying bear spray.
Yeah.
I've been in a couple of places where I should have been carrying it, but they prohibited it. And that was kind of interesting to me. Some of the national parks actually prohibit you to bring bear spray.
Bear spray, really?
Yeah. Yep.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, we've got all. I mean, the other thing that you'll see out here, which is it'll throw people off a little bit, is they have concealed and open carry here, and
right.
And so it's nothing to see somebody that's out hiking and they'll have a gun on their side for protection.
Sure.
They're looking for protection against bear. And I think that bear spray is definitely the thing that people say that like that's your go-to is, for one, it's grizzlies are endangered and are on the endangered species. It's illegal to shoot them. So I don't know why anybody would want to purposefully do that unless you were defending yourself
to not die,
to save your life. Yeah. So I'm getting used to that. I'm getting used to this, idea that when you're out and about, especially if you were by yourself, you definitely want to have bear spray and some protection on you. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
So you've been able to do a lot of hiking. We saw the Flathead Lake footage there. And then recently you got to get out and do some rafting. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so this was special for me, and it was special because I just had my dad come out and do a quick visit here. And if you're looking for father-son moments, this is a great place for that to happen. And I wasn't really even thinking that that's what we were going to end up experiencing. It was a short visit that he was here for. And I just wanted to show him around and kind of just sort of expose him to what I've seen. I mean, I'm not the best tour guide here yet because I don't even know. I need a tour guide. So for me to function as a tour guide, like I'm really relying on places I've already gone. And so one of our whitefish captains, he was willing to take my dad and I out and do a float. And this is just amazing. Montana, it's just an amazing area. Going down this river, it wasn't treacherous by any means, but we did some fishing, and what we really got into for the first time was fly fishing. And this fly fishing, I wanted to do it. I'd never done it before, and I immediately will just say that I'm hooked. And I got to do this, I'm hooked. I'm hooked. I cannot wait. I know it's just such a bad pun, but I'm hooked on fly fishing. I want to get much better at it. But as there's a video here where I'm fly fishing with my dad in Montana, and talk about.
We've got some photos here too.
Yeah, talk about now this photo here. This is my dad. He's fly fishing here, and again, neither one of us had ever fly fished before, and so we're being shown how to do it. But from my personal place, and this is my dad here. This is me fly fishing. My dad just kind of extending his hand towards me, and I look at this stuff and I go, I got to go fly fishing with my dad. It's kind of like a river runs through it moment.
Right. Yeah.
you know, and that was very, very, very special to me, that I got to do this and that he got to do this as well. So I guess I just have really been thankful since I've been living here.
That's really cool.
In Whitefish, Montana.
I mean, I'm sure knowing how much you get out, it's not going to be long before you can be the tour guide too. But it is kind of cool to like still have that wonder and that awe when you're experiencing that with somebody who you know from a different place that's there visiting with you. Like you're both getting to experience that for the first time together. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to getting out there at some point soon. So I'm wondering, you know, okay, I mean, I'm not going to call myself a Midwestern kid, but I've spent more than half my life in the Midwest now. So I come out for, let's say I come out for a week. What are the things we're doing while I'm out?
Well, if you're here in the summer or spring, you know, spring, summer, fall, we're going fly fishing.
All right.
So we're doing that.
Love it.
And hiking is an obvious one too. And it doesn't even mean that you have to go necessarily in a glacier. Although I mean, I understand why people make it a routine destination if you're out here, going into the park. But I think what I'm starting to learn is that there is so much more even beyond the park that you can go and do, and really just see less people. I mean, I have this vision for a original Firefighter T-shirt that's going to say "More woods, less people," and I'm for it.
I like that. I'm for that.
It's great.
Yep.
It's a beautiful landscape, and that's what I would want you and anyone else that's coming out to visit, that I'd want you to experience that as much as I'm experiencing it now.
That's good. So I mean, people often talk about mountain living being a slower pace of life. So you're there.
Yeah,
as
I'm
a
not sure about
firefighter.
that. Let me.
So you're still fighting fires in this slow pace, leisurely mountain life, you know,
Yeah.
resort like environment. So how's your heart doing?
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely a go time right now because, you know, like I said, and it's been revealed many times. It's like, I thought I was really done with the fire service. Not for a bad reason by any means. Just I thought I was going to go in another direction. But
It's your time.
There was an opportunity that lent itself. It was a great opportunity, and there is this, you know, kind of like go period of my life right now where I can do all the things and still be working and still be contributing, but also have a certain level of quality of life that I'm very thankful for now. And I'll just say it clearly. I mean, that wasn't what I was getting back there in Rockford, was quality of life. I had quality of friends for sure. Mm-hmm. I miss my friends, and those that are out there listening, you know that I keep in contact and aim to keep people in my life. But the quality of life itself, I could feel myself like just kind of on the decline. And now I'm feeling this inspiration, and it comes from a lot of different places here. Certainly comes from the people. The people are fantastic. Now, it's certainly not a slower pace of life from my perspective, because people drive 100 miles an hour out here.
Really?
Yeah, it's like the Autobahn.
Yeah.
Highway 93 between Kalispell and Whitefish. You better have your eyes wide open because they are moving.
It's that locals only thing, man. Those mountain people, they know their roads, and they're not slowing down for you just because you're
that's
visiting,
just
right?
it. That's just it.
I lived out in Northern California for quite a while, and the Santa Cruz Mountains were the same way. Like 17 running through the mountains there. Those native Santa Cruz people, man, they would just like lay on the gas downhill in their pickup truck, running those like tight little turns, and you're like, you better keep up, or you're gonna get thrown off the side of that thing. Yeah. I have a
real thought.
They're not so chill once they get in the truck.
No, I think that you know, and I do understand this. I give some respect to this. Is that local citizens, people who have probably been, you know, multiple generations in Montana, they're looking at, you know, people that are relocating here, and they're like, you better get on board and know how to drive that freaking vehicle of yours, because they're going to run you over.
Yeah.
Their attitude is, the sun is setting somewhere. I better get to it.
Yeah, that's funny.
So, yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Well, you got the hat, so you're at least blending in that way, right?
Yeah,
You went full Montana recently. I saw
did.
that picture.
I did. Yeah. I have embraced it all.
That's
But
awesome.
that's the way I want to be about life anymore. Is that what we get is special, as far as time. And so if I'm gonna, my attitude is that if I'm gonna be a part of something, I'm gonna go all in. I don't really know any other way. That's my attitude about most things.
That's great.
So I don't like to half-ass it. That's for sure.
Yep. Get everything you can get out of life.
Yeah.
Well, that's great, man. Anything else that you want to mention or talk about? Any like aha moments out there, or oh, I get it kind of moments being in Montana?
Yeah, I mean, you've heard the phrasing, big sky, Montana,
Yes, yeah.
Last best place type stuff. It's real. The sky is huge. It is. The moon looks bigger. The stars are brighter. I mean, I know there's another state out there that thinks that that's what they're about, and I'm like, I don't know. I think Montana's given Texas a good run for its money, so they I don't think they want any more people from Texas. Unfortunately, they don't. So
well, that's because
so I'm from Illinois, not from Texas or California.
Now,
so I'm not here.
Yeah.
I'm not.
That's all right.
I don't think I'm going to get too much flack, but it is what it is. People are moving here for a reason, and it's a better way of life, I think, in a lot of ways. I don't think you should move here and ruin it. I think you should leave your politics at the door because but that's my opinion. That's just an opinion. So I think that I think assimilating a little bit is a personal responsibility. But I think the going back to, the fire service, is that, I had this fire, first week out of the gate. And this fire was it wasn't like right downtown in Whitefish, but it was really, really close. And I was pinching myself going, man, this didn't take long. I think you might be trying to pull the video up here, but this is a great shot though. This is the fire, but this is a great shot of two Whitefish firefighters that are getting on this 2.5. This is so they played a pretty good joke on me. And I got questioned. Like friends were seeing this, and they were like, "Are you drinking beer on
cracking
a fire
one?"
station?" I'm like, like no. So this is apparently this is Anheuser-Busch. They had bottled water during COVID in their Anheuser-Busch beer cans. And it says bottled. It says canned water on the can, but it definitely looks like a Busch Light or a Bud Light or whatever.
You sent that photo to us not too long ago, and I definitely had to double take. I was like,
yeah. So
no
it was,
way.
It was
Mountain
COVID
life.
water. Yeah.
I've got that video here. Let me pull that up.
Yeah. So this is only 6 days being here, and this fire is it's well seated. It's rocking, and it's a defensive fire. At the end of the day, no entry was made in this building, but I'm like 6 days here taking command, and I'm trying to call these companies from different villages and towns and cities, and I don't even know any of their names. I'm just
Hey,
I'm
you,
just like,
431.
Yeah, hey, you engine. Hey, engine over there. Could you come over here and do this thing? So it was definitely, I will say, baptized by fire right away. So
that's good.
That was a good way to get introduced
into it, right?
Yeah, it was a good way to get an introduction into the Flathead Valley Fire Service, if you will. The Whitefish firefighters are awesome. I'm not just bullshitting that. I mean, these guys know what they're doing. They have to, and they really are well disciplined. They've got to go in so many different directions. So, I'm learning it along the way and getting acclimated, making sure that we're gonna have a good fire department going forward for sure.
Well, we definitely miss you out here in Rockford, but we're glad that you've had a great first 100 days there in Montana, and we're looking forward to seeing everything that happens out there with you over the next few years. And thanks for sharing.
Yeah. Hey, 100 days in Montana. More to come. But, something else to be looking forward to here is we at the beginning of the show, we talked about that it is breast cancer awareness. At the end of October is Halloween.
Yes.
And at Original Firefighter, we like Halloween. In fact, we've got a special podcast edition coming up there. I think it's going to drop October 29th. And it's going to be an awesome episode. You're going to want to watch it. You're going to want to go to YouTube and watch it. It's got some great visuals.
Let's roll that teaser right now.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, here we go.
Welcome back to a special edition of the Original Firefighter podcast. So sit back, relax, turn off the lights, and get ready for Original Firefighter Presents
Frighteners and the Firefighter.
The ghosts of 1918 still linger. They are the soldiers of Camp Grant, the sisters who gave their lives, and the commander who could not bear the weight of his own decisions. But the ground they marched on would become a graveyard before they ever saw battle.
I vividly remember laying there, and out of nowhere, the computer chair goes flying across the room. And I remember hearing a woman's voice, because I did actually hear some steps going down the stairs.
With an even more sinister type of look in her eyes, and somewhat of a smile on her face. That crucifix that was above her head, it wasn't upright anymore. At that moment, we realized we need to leave now and go back to the station. Anyways, I'm laying there on my back, just staring up at the wall, and next thing I know, I have whispering in my ear.
So what an awesome trailer that is. Make sure to tune in October 29th. You can always listen to us on our streaming platforms, but this is going to be one that you're going to want to go to YouTube and watch. It's got some really great effects and visuals, and the effort put in by Phil Nedved, one of our Original Firefighter podcasts hosts and also an owner here at Original Firefighter. So he's done a great job for us. And Aaron, thanks so much for what you do, all the engineering that you do for our podcast. Really want to let you know how much we appreciate you.
Hey, happy to do it.
Yeah,
love
for
being
sure.
a part of this community. It's been a blast.
Yeah. So really, with the conversation that's gone on today, we're basically looking at the fire service from another angle out here in the Pacific Northwest, as they say, and also just I'm sharing a little bit of the insight of 100 days in Montana. But really, if you're listening, viewing, one of the things that I would like to send you off with is if you're thinking about making healthy changes in your life, now's the time to do it. There's never a late time to do it. If you're thinking about making a big move, and lots of things about life can be very scary, and there can be a lot of trepidation about making huge changes. They work out, and especially if you have good people around you, and good friends and support, you can have a great life in different parts of the country. So with that said, we just want to say thanks for everybody out there listening and viewing. And as always, at Original Firefighter, we want you to be safe.
This has been the Original Firefighter podcast. Thanks for watching and listening. Tune in each week on Wednesdays for a new episode. Like and follow us on all social media platforms, and subscribe to our YouTube channel today.